Hello and welcome to One United. My name is Partha Joshi and I'm here along with Anshuman. After the Manchester Derby defeat 6-3, City has thrashed United at the Ethiad Stadium and we're here to talk about it. Anshuman, a
Mhm.
very unwelcome result, unfortunately for every Manchester United fan, but something we are not too surprised about. I think I don't think anyone is too surprised by this because we thought that this could happen, but we weren't really sure that the first half would play out this badly for us. The four goals conceded in the first half that really set us back because we played some decent football in the second half. Yes, we scored later on when the substitutions were made by Pep, but it's not that United were too bad. It's just that City were too good. I think.
Yeah, I mean, none of the there was at no point in the result where I was like surprised by either of City or United, and we were talking about this in the preview as well. That in when it comes to Erling Haaland, he is
Hmm.
essentially demonstrating what happens when all of City's goals are start to come from 1 point and 1 point only, and that is what he's doing. When they have a focal point to score goals from, he's the only one who's scoring them goals. So what the City are doing with their creation of chances is nothing different from what they were doing. It's not more or less than what they were doing in the previous seasons, and United played no differently than they would in the seasons before as well. But here is where, like, let's take our minds back to 2 seasons back when United won at Etihad, when we won the game 2-0. And even then, our idea was okay, we let City have the ball most of the time and we'll go on the counter. And only in that
Hmm.
match, what happened is immediately we got a penalty because of Martial, and then Bruno converted it. So we went 1-0 ahead. And City came at us and tried everything they could not break us down. And then again, we scored a goal on the counter, and that was it. So what essentially happened that even in that game we had a plan, and we
Hmm.
that plan worked for us because it generated for us a moment that we capitalized on, and then we were able to see the match through. In this game, however, what has happened is that City got an early chance, they took it, and they
Hmm.
had a plan, we had a plan, and they were able to capitalize on their plan much better than we did. So these moments, they are going to open up for both of the sides. But when City are playing a proactive kind of football and United are dependent on what City are trying to do, that is always going to result in City creating more chances than United. And in the previous season, like in the match that I was referring to, we had a slim chance and we took it, and it worked out for us. In this situation, City got an early chance and they took it. So performance-wise, it was not that different from what we have come to expect from either side going into this fixture. It's
But
just
we
that
were
City
expecting
had.
some things different from Ten Hag, but it wasn't the case. That's what people are, I think, sad about. That we
Yeah,
were hoping something
even
different.
yesterday when we were talking about the starting lineups, I said that I don't expect him to change. I would want
Hmm.
him to change, but I wasn't expecting him to change, and he did not change it. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, even
I
from
think
Pep's side, I think Pep
normally,
took more of
normally
a
wanted
risk.
to.
Like if you were to say, like, from a starting 11 point of view, I think Pep took more risk than Ten Hag did, because I don't know why Gundogan started as the number 6. I don't know if this was Rodri being injured. I have to assume is that is the case. But when it comes to Akanji and Ake, I was very surprised that Hoven Diaz wasn't there.
Uh,
But
yeah.
once again, I think I'm not really sure again if there was an injury involved, but some argument has been made about it online that maybe the turn of pace argument that is levied against Maguire and Van Dijk. So Pep was slightly worried about Rashford's pace, and he might be able to use that in the counter. So that was an argument that was being made about both Akanji and Ake being taken to the starting 11 instead of either of Diaz or Laporte. But yeah, to their credit, they did very well. So this match, in another circumstance, could just as well have turned badly for us, badly for City as well, because I'm pretty sure in the dressing room, Pep will be slating them about conceding 3 goals, because
Yeah.
Manchester
Especially
United,
the two late ones. Especially the two late ones.
especially the late ones, and the penalty that they conceded, and even the one in which Edison left out a goal and Anthony Martial was able to capitalize. Because I
Yeah.
don't think he'll be that mad about scoring 6 goals, as we know Guardiola usually isn't. But he'll be very
Hmm.
worried about the fact that he again let City concede 3 goals. So I think City winning against United by a 3 goal margin is not that big a deal, and I am
Hmm.
more than happy with the performance because I didn't see anything different. Obviously, it's disappointing because it's a derby and you want to have the bragging rights, but it is what it is. The scoreline today just demonstrated what we already know, that City, as far as their developmental phase is concerned, are on a completely different stratosphere than United, and United are have themselves to blame for it. There is no one else. And on another day, this could have turned out to be a draw. This could have turned out to be a slim victory in United's case, and then we would have been talking about a match in which United won a match they did not deserve. That is not the case today, because they've simply lost the game that they deserve to lose, and City have won a game rightly. So yeah, no complaints, nothing surprising, nothing out of the ordinary. We were talking in the last episode as well that these performances are expected, and I like post-match reaction from Ten Hag, because he again was pointing about the exact thing that I'm saying. That he's saying that okay, there were chances in which we had on the counter, we had opportunities to take them down, and if we could have, it could have been a different story. Which is what I'm saying. That even in the last game, that game that I'm using as an example, the game in which we won 2 seasons ago, we took our chances, and that is what Ten Hag was also focusing on. That had we taken our chances in our time, maybe things would have turned out differently. So I like the
Yeah.
fact that he's focusing on that instead of just saying, "Oh, we conceded 6 goals, big whoop." So I like where he's thinking as well, and I expect in the long run to
I
that
think the
will be
last 20 minutes. I think the last 20 minutes softened the blow for him as well because 6-3 with a 3-0 margin is highly different to a 6-1 with a 5 goal
yeah,
margin.
very much so, very
So
much so.
so the last 20 minutes or so, because it's not that we got lucky, we actually played good football in the final, in the second half, especially in the final 20-30 minutes. uh, Even before that, I think Anthony scuffed a shot which he shouldn't have. We could have capitalized a great chance there. So
Even
there were two
Sancho
things.
had, I think, a couple of chances that he did not
Yeah,
take.
there were chances. I was talking to a friend who is also an avid football fan. He's been playing football with me since childhood. So we talk usually on WhatsApp or something. So he was saying United were out of it before the last 20 minutes when the substitutions were made. And I was of the opinion that no, United had their chances. It's just that whichever team scores the goals, it looks like they're dominating. It's just that City were dominant. Yes, there's no doubt about it. Obviously, they scored 4 goals in the first half, but it's just that United had their chances, and if they had scored some, it would have looked like okay, there's an even game, which can go either side. It would have been somewhat like 4-2 by the end of like 50-55 minutes, and it would have been game on. We would have said, oh, one more goal, and there's just one goal to go. So it's a game of numbers. It was, I think, the previous 4-1 defeat at Etihad the last season, that was a more dominant performance from Man City. It's just that Haaland scored 3 goals and Foden scored 3 goals, that it looks so far off that we considered six. It's just that the chances that were created in that game didn't get much outlet, and this game had an outlet. So it looked more glamorous on the score sheet, but it's just that I don't think it's that brutal a performance that would hurt United and Ten Hag.
I think the very fact that two guys scored hat tricks instead of five guys scoring 6 goals
Yeah,
among them is something that will
yeah.
be more worrying for Pep Guardiola, because depending on one player is something that a team manager like him, who likes to play systems, who likes to play a coherent team, is something that
But I
he will
don't
not
think
be
he'll
fancying.
complain too much. I don't think he'll complain too much because he was used to it when Messi was playing for Barcelona
Yeah, yeah, but
under
it's
his spell.
something that at the back of his mind he would be thinking about, because in the league you are not going
I
to be
don't think
worrying
so.
about this. But in knockout
I don't.
matches, you may end up in a situation where the very players that are converting your chances for you may not come alive. So in that situation, you need your system to do something, which is what basically happens in teams that rely on one player time and again. And while Haaland is fantastic, and when he's in that kind of form, you don't really need anyone else to deliver. And again, he's demonstrating what City have been doing for seasons anyway. Still, you
Hmm.
would want to be in a situation where the rest of the team is also contributing every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah. I think I contradict. I think I am contradicting you here, and I believe that this was the exact reason why Erling Haaland was bought. I think they needed these personalities to score more goals. They needed these personalities to come alive in these games because City are known to choke under pressure due to lack of personalities, due to lack of a focal point. Because whenever they've lost in a big game, whether you see against Real Madrid, whether you see against Tottenham in that defeat at the White Hart Lane last season, it was because the other team had a focal point. Real Madrid had Benzema, Tottenham had Harry Kane. They all had focal points to focus on when providing for the goals, and City had no one to look up to. for them to say, ki, okay, this is the guy that will get us goals. This is the guy that will get across that will get us across the line. Kevin De Bruyne is a great player, a midfield maestro, I'd say, but he also lacked that one focal point which he can look up to and say, okay, if I give him the ball, there is 90% chance that he'll score, and they got Erling Haaland for that now, and I think City are happy with that. It's just that uh, I don't think it will work out that well for City by the end of it all. It's what I'm saying. I don't think that he will be a flop, but it's just that there could have been better fits for them. Erling Haaland is a great fit. There's no question about it. He has scored three consecutive hat tricks. Something like this has never happened in the Premier League, even not even City in the Premier League as a whole. So I think there are points. Yes, now everybody will say United fans are delusional and this and that, but I do believe this was not that bad a performance because the players didn't look disheartened by the end of it all. If it was any other game, after 6-1, I don't think United would have tried to score another goal. They would have just sat back and tried maintaining that goal. It's just that they went ahead and scored two. I'm positive about it, and I don't know if I'm right, but it's just that what I feel is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with the fact, especially that they continued scoring even after, even when they know that the match was long gone. Yeah, and yes, it's. I think I completely agree on the fact that they did need a focal point in Erling Haaland, and they have one now. But even when you bring up the examples of Tottenham and Real Madrid, the thing to remember is that the teams, while they are quite important from a personality point of view, they're quite reliant on these players. They are not solely reliant on them for goals and assists, especially in these examples that
I
we have
don't think
plucked
City
out.
are. I don't think City
Yeah,
are.
I don't think either they aren't either right now, because we are still in the early stages of the game, and even right now, Holland is not the one who scored 6 goals. He just scored half of them. I just hope that for City's sake, I hope that they are able to maintain that balance in which they neither become over reliant on a
And
player
for
nor
United's sake,
they
we hope
become
they
that
aren't.
kind of team that is lacking a focal point. So I think in Holland they have a very good player that can provide them that balance, that can provide them something that they haven't had for quite a while. But yeah, it is a matter of marginal gains and maintaining that fine line. And in knockout matches, I think this is something that we'll see in more finer detail. Not in the league. I think in the league things are going to be more or less fine for City. But defensively, I think they will be worried to a certain degree, because they still have conceded 3 goals. They conceded 3 goals against Newcastle as well, and that is something that has come off the back of now them not having a focal point, because now the entire team has to be formed positionally and tactically. They have to perform according to position of this one person, so that he is not left isolated. So that opens up a lot of positioning in the back. Now United try to capitalize on it, because in the starting I noticed that neither Anthony or Sancho were playing out wide. They were playing in the half spaces. They were trying to be a bit narrow, so as to not allow Walker or João Cancelo to occupy the central areas. But then City are more than happy to just play in their own orthodox position, because Cancelo didn't really drift into midfield in the beginning too much. Neither did Kyle Walker, and eventually he was replaced anyway.
Hmm.
City were more than happy playing through the
Walker going
orthodox
off. Do
position
you
as
think
well.
Walker going off played a part?
Walker going off played a part, didn't really matter that much, because at that point City were quite comfortable anyway. And the player that came
No,
in
no,
instead in Sergio,
played a part. It played a part in United scoring late goals and this
late
getting to
goals,
us.
yes. Late goals, yes. Because when it comes to proper orthodox defensive work, we already know that
Because
Joao
if
Cancelo is not that. That
Foden
is not
and
his best quality.
De Bruyne had stayed, if Foden and De Bruyne had stayed, do you think they would have scored more?
I think they would have wanted to score more, but at that point, I think defensively also they had gotten slightly out of shape, and
Complacent.
be- because they had started in such a whirlwind, towards the end it became kind of a situation where United had already scored 1 goal, and the clean sheet was already gone. If the clean sheet had not gone, I think they may have wanted to stick to it. They may have wanted to try to control a
Hmm.
game more at the end of the day, like we saw Liverpool did last season when they had
Hmm.
already scored 5 goals. They didn't try score 10 against United,
Hmm.
where they very easily could have gone for it as well. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think in having Kyle Walker is quite a cheat code for them, because again, that pace that he has on the turn, that has helped them out quite a lot of times. But
Mm,
yes, I think the fact that they conceded 3 goals is something that will be in at the back of their mind, because this is the first time, is not the first time that this has happened this season, and
mm,
Holland's inclusion has a lot of part playing in it, and they are trying to play out in such a way that that exposes their flanks on the counter as well. And United in this match, they were not able to counter, but they were not able to affect in such a way so that they would lose, but they still conceded 3 goals. So this is something
mm.
City would be thinking about, and yeah, we can all only wait and see how exploitative things can become for them.
Okay, so let's because the immediate reaction from everybody is that United are miles off, and uh, this showed the level City are at, and everything like that. We'll talk about it, and I think Rio Ferdinand has just admitted on his live with his five podcast that he does that United are miles off City and something like that. I do believe there is a huge distance. Yes, because the distance is not about the tactical prowess. It's more about the system that has been in development and in place for a long while now. City have had a system in place for how long now? Like they have had a great system in place for I think more than a decade now, where they have had right signings, where they have had footballing people helming things, and obviously there's money spent, but it's the money spent in right areas, I think. And United now, after all the spending and all the ups and downs, are starting to realize that they need to have a long-term vision and long-term system. I think it's more of that. I think judging United's prowess in just 3 months to Pep Guardiola's 4 or 5 years is not fair on him. And what do you think about this particular statement? Because uh, it's I think it's unfair at some point, but I do believe I said it in the previous live that United job is like this. That there is a highest of highs and lowest of lows. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, today's performance was not surprising in even remotely, because this is just a result of what City have been doing and what United have been doing in their own ways. And the fact that our development is so stunted compared to City is, we all know why the reasons are there for it, and we keep shooting ourselves in the foot. So that is hasn't changed for a long time, and right now we can only hope that it does. And based on what Richard Arnold recently said, after the last year's last year's financial
Mm,
records were made public, is that he said that okay, we are not going to spend as much money next summer as we did this summer. So
mm,
that's already very worrying, not surprising or worrying, because if United are not going to spend that much money, they need to make
mm,
sure that they buy the right players. But to make sure that they buy the right players, they need to have a proper recruitment department, which we at the
mm.
current moment know does not exist. So how do you do that? How do you build upon this what you have right now going
I
into
think
next
the statement you're talking about, Anshuman, are you able to hear me?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think what you're saying about the statement made by Richard Arnold is more of the fact that he wants to shun the fans' expectations down, because we have gone out and spent 100 million on Anthony, and we have gone out and spent 70 million on Casemiro, and he doesn't want the fans to think that this is going to be the norm at United, that every window they are going to spend like 200 million plus on players. I think it's more of that rather than saying that Manchester United have had financial troubles, but because with the kind of backing that United have, and especially with the manager like Ten Hag, which the fans support now wholeheartedly, I don't think financial prowess would be a trouble, especially if they qualify for the Champions League somehow.
I don't think saying financial problem is, I don't know, is the right term, because United financially don't have a problem. But
Hmm.
comparing United and City's operations is first of all completely misleading, because City have a state funded public investment fund backing them. So United does not have that. So United cannot compare against a consortium that can on an infinite level provide them money, because United, whatever money comes into United comes on the back of whatever revenue the club generates. The owners are not spending any money here. We already know that. So what we spend depends on how we use the money that we are earning. So
Earning.
that already takes us away from the city discussion and makes us talk about how should we look to the likes of Arsenal and Liverpool,
Liverpool.
who have the kind of ownership that relies on the club's revenue first and their own wealth afterwards.
I think
So
Arsenal has also invested a lot in the past few years.
they have, and so have we. But the thing is that we all, as fans, we need to keep into mind that
Hmm.
our financial situation is completely different from cities from a fundamental point. And
Yeah, yeah.
it's understand, it's completely important to keep reminding the fans that we are not in a position to spend that money year in year out. But because we are not in a position to spend that much money, that makes us it is that makes it even more important for us to focus on our recruitment department, which is something we haven't done ever. So all
Hmm.
I hope is that we do that, that we improve that in the time leading up to next summer, so that we can improve our squad, because we do need to, without having to spend 250 million, because I don't think it is sustainable, and I don't think it can happen either. And how much money we spend depends on how much we earn over a season, and
Hmm.
how good are we in moving our players on, which is also something that we haven't been good at. So all
Hmm.
of these things need to be kept in mind, and we also need to be a tad bit realistic.
I think
And yeah,
when we talk about moving our players on, I think United board was not also hoping that we'll not get a single trophy in 5 years. Because if we would have won something, the players would have gained their value in the transfer market, and they wouldn't have to struggle so much regarding the player value. Because I think it was more of a valuation game between the clubs that the players didn't get moved on. Yes, there were other reasons as well, but I think this was a massive reason because nobody was expecting to United to go on a 5 year drought regarding the trophies.
true. But
I think the
in
board
that
was
time,
clueless enough.
I think in that time, if people had the right players in place, they would have made the kind of hard decisions that needed to be made a
Yeah,
long time ago.
yeah,
And
yeah.
which is something that I've talked about quite a long
I
time.
think it was all a
Like,
byproduct. It is also a byproduct of right people not being there at the helm, bowling people not being there at the helm,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it all stems from the top, and then it trickles down to all these things and various things uh, that have been rotting the club for a while. We are just hoping that someone like how someone like Klopp changed Liverpool's faith in the past few years, because Liverpool were not doing great. Oh yes, they had Brendan Rodgers, and they had Luis Suarez, who single-handedly almost won them the title. If he had some decent players alongside him, barring Steven Gerrard and Coutinho, I think he could have done what Liverpool needed a while back. It was just that Steven Gerrard slipped at the wrong moment, and Liverpool get trolled. But I think Jurgen Klopp did that, and now people also believe at United that Erik Ten Hag can do something like that if he stays here long enough. But for that to happen, he'll have to have the backing of the board. He'll have to be given time. We talked about this earlier as well when he was signed, and you and me and both, I think, uh, we both are agreeing on the fact that this season is not going to be an easy sailing. We won 4 games and we were hopeful against City in this game. We didn't get the result, and this is going to happen. There will be games where we will be hopeful that United should be able to play better, but they wouldn't, and these results would come in this season. So I think we also need to manage our expectations in that sense that this is going to happen. This is going to be the season that we sign up for, and although it's frustrating, I don't uh, I don't particularly think that if United keep playing this way, many fans would go against Erik Ten Hag and the management and the players even for not showing heart, because players showed heart even if it was in the final 30 minutes. I was very happy that players were fighting. They were not letting go of the result. When they saw that the substitutions were made, uh, they were passionate enough, they were instinctive enough to capitalize on it, because many people called this performance a passionless performance. I don't think they lacked passion. It's just that the first goal, which was a deflection from various players, they have also tried to stop it in the goal, but that didn't happen. If that goal didn't go in, things could have changed. In the hindsight, it doesn't look like it will change. It would have changed because we conceded 6, but things change with one single thing, with one single action, and I think many fans would find this particular result. Uh, as somewhat a positive. There will be positives to pick out from this result as well, is what I believe.
Yeah, there are positives, and this is again one of a match result that I am more than happy to take on board because that's what I've signed up for. I made my peace
Mm.
with how the season is going to pan out at the start of the season, so I'm not particularly going to celebrate too hard or be too down
Mm.
every time United win or lose. It's just going to
Mm.
be something throughout the season, and yeah, just more of the same.
Yeah, I think that's that. I also want to talk about this statement that Ten Hag made in the post-match press conference or whatever. On why, when asked on why Ronaldo didn't feature, he was saying it was out of respect for his big career. I think he's being a bit too diplomat here. This is blatantly just pissing off the fans at this point, especially the Ronaldo fanboys. They're like, this guy is not letting us catch a break. It's just that he's using the words very wisely. I think it's a smart thing from Ten Hag, what he said after about Ronaldo's not Ronaldo not featuring in the game.
Yeah, it was a thoroughly enjoyable thing, and I had like great chuckle about it
Uh-huh.
because at this point, what else can you do? Because the way he's saying it, I thoroughly enjoyed myself when he said, "Oh yeah, out of respect for
Uh-huh.
his big career, he didn't suppose he should be featuring in a match like this." Yeah, yeah, more than fine. Yeah, so I love that comment, and you can make of that what you will, but
Hmm.
yeah, it is what it is, and he is where he is right now.
It's
So
more of him saying that I don't care what you guys and the fans think. I'm going to do how I want to do things. And if you
neither should
want
he.
an answer out of me,
Neither
and
should he.
if you want an answer out of me, I'll give you an answer which you think I am serious about, but I really am not.
Yeah, and the very fact that he's being asked this question tells you
Yeah,
how hard it was
every
for
time.
the managers before him.
Every time,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
every time, and now he has learned to deal with this. He learned to deal with it earlier as well, but now he's just having fun with this question. Okay, Ronaldo, yes, I'll tell you why he didn't play, and he's playing a very safe game. He's saying, "Oh, he will come back. Oh, yes, he can. He has done this in the past, and he will do it again." He's feeding everyone the right things. He's doing it as he pleases, and I cannot not respect it. It's respectable how he's dealing with it.
yeah, and things have been made very easy for him as well. But Ronaldo made
Yeah.
it very easy for him, so he really
Why
isn't
not
in a
someone
position where he can turn back and say, "Oh, I'm out of options here." So yeah,
else?
lovely.
I think he also has made up his mind that he'll feature Ronaldo more in the Europa League and the cup games when they come, the knockout games. Then I think he has also communicated this to Ronaldo that I'll use you very wisely. You're not going to play every game in and out because uh, it's not feasible for you at 37 years of age. I think he has communicated that because Ronaldo looks more calm now. I think if this would have happened a year ago, he would have lost his shit. He would have thrown the toys out of the pram, and all hell would have broken loose. But he looks like he has accepted this now. He is like, okay, this is what my life is now at
I mean,
Manchester United.
there is nothing else he can do either because he tried going out. It's not like he didn't, and no one came for him. So that was one reality check. And right now the transfer window is also shut for a few months, so that he doesn't really have anything else to do. He sort of has to stick around. I do
I
have
think
still
he's
have
just
I
training.
still have a funny feeling that maybe in January one club might turn around and give him a thought once again that okay,
No, I don't. I
now
don't
half
think
the
he'll.
season is over, the knockout is coming in the Champions League. Let's give him a shout. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, but it may happen, and we'll see what becomes of that. But maybe he's also looking forward to this now.
I think he's just made his peace that he'll have to train hard for the World Cup. He has to prepare for the
Yeah,
World Cup. He has talked to Jordan Peterson now, so that must have given him some kind of psychological push regarding his mentality that he needed. I think. So yeah, I think that's that. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? Because I think that's done. Because we've talked, I think almost everything. We have not done the
yeah,
tactical analysis, but I think we have talked about what we want to talk about.
yeah. I mean, there is nothing really egregious that happened in the match because we conceded 6 goals. I guess you can be
Erling
dramatic
Haaland
about
was
it.
great. Yes, Erling Haaland
Yeah,
was great. Yes, good
Erling
news.
Haaland was great. Anthony
Nothing
Martial
new.
was great.
Third
He
hat
gave
trick.
Holland all the headline that he could, so that he could just steal the limelight himself and teach Ronaldo how to score 2 goals coming off the bench, so that he can do that next time. Yeah, the same thing happened, and so yeah, there's nothing much more to add to that apart from that.
Yeah, I think that's that from us. It's me, Partha Joshi from One United Manch One Joshi. Signing off. Hopefully, we'll catch you guys soon with some positive news regarding Manchester United because this has not been one of the positive days that we'll have as a Manchester United fan. 6-3 for City at the Ethiad. Better days to come. Hopefully so. It's me signing off along with Anshuman. Tata, bye bye. Good night, and hopefully you guys sleep well because many fans will not.